When a loss hits this close to home, words don't come easily. And when they finally do, they carry everything. That's exactly what happened when Brandon Sheets spoke out after the passing of his father, Darrell Sheets. Because this wasn't just a tribute. It was a son trying to process something that doesn't make sense. Darrell Sheets passed away on April 22, 2026, at the age of 67 after being found at his home in Arizona. Authorities reported it as an apparent suicide, and investigations are still ongoing, including claims of possible cyberbullying in the days leading up to his death. But beyond the headlines, this became a family story, a deeply personal one. Because for Brandon, this was the gambler from television. This was his father. For days there was silence, and then Brandon spoke. According to reports, he shared emotional words on social media, expressing heartbreak while also making a promise to honor his father's legacy moving forward. It wasn't a long statement. It didn't try to explain everything. Instead, it reflected something more real. Grief. He reportedly described the pain of losing his father in a way that resonated with fans immediately. Not just sadness, but the kind of loss that leaves questions behind. Because when something like this happens, there's always a why. And sometimes there's no clear answer. Fans of Storage Wars remember Brandon and Daryl not just as cast members, but as a duo. A real-life father and son working side by side in a high-pressure, unpredictable world of auctions. Their dynamic wasn't always smooth. There were disagreements, moments of tension, but underneath all of it, there was loyalty. And that's what makes Brandon's words hit harder. Because this wasn't just losing a parent. It was losing someone who had been part of his everyday life, on screen and off. One of the most powerful parts of Brandon's tribute was his focus on legacy. Despite the pain, he emphasized that his father's impact wouldn't be forgotten. And that matters. Because Darrell Sheets wasn't just known for his bold personality, he was known for the way he lived. Taking risks, speaking his mind, building a life from auctions, and turning it into something millions watched. Brandon's promise to carry that forward reflects something deeper than grief. It reflects responsibility. Not in a public sense, but in a personal one. What stood out in Brandon's message wasn't just what he said. It was what he didn't say. There were no details about the circumstances. No deep explanations. Just emotion. And sometimes, that silence speaks louder than anything else. Because when loss is this sudden, words feel small. Brandon isn't the only one grieving. Daryl is also survived by his daughter and granddaughter, both of whom were close to him. And as tributes continue to come in from friends, co-stars, and fans, one thing is clear. This loss is being felt on many levels. From former cast members sharing memories, to fans revisiting old episodes, to family members trying to process what happened. The impact is widespread. As soon as Brandon's message surfaced, social media reactions followed. Many fans expressed sympathy, not just for the loss, but for the position Brandon is now in. Because grieving publicly is different. Some praised his strength. Others simply offered support. But almost everyone agreed on one thing. His words felt real. And in moments like this, that's what people connect with. Darrell Sheets' passing has also brought attention to a bigger issue. Mental health. Reports suggest he may have been facing personal struggles, and authorities are investigating whether external factors, like online harassment, played a role. And that has shifted the conversation. Because now, this isn't just about one person. It's about awareness. Brandon's silence at first, and then his emotional response reflects how complex these situations are. There's grief, there's confusion, and sometimes there's regret. Right now, Brandon Sheets is left with something many people fear the most: moving forward without closure. Because even with investigations, reports, and public discussion, some questions may never be answered. But what remains is memory and connection, and the responsibility to carry forward what was left behind. At its core, Brandon's tribute reminds us of something simple but powerful. Behind every public figure, there's a private life, a family, a story that doesn't end when the cameras stop. Darrell Sheets may have been known to millions as a bold, unforgettable personality. But to Brandon, he was just Dad. And now, as he begins to navigate life after that loss, his words serve as a reminder that grief doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be honest. Because sometimes, the most powerful tributes aren't the longest ones. They're the ones that come from a place that words can barely reach. And that's exactly what Brandon shared.